I've got a few hard to swallow pills for my fellow leftists. A common argument on the left is if we stop voting for Democrats and we start voting for third parties and they do tremendously well in the election, even though they actually won't win, that will encourage the Democrats to move more left. But the truth is, that's far from what happens in real life. We've seen what happens many times with Ralph Nader and Ross Perot and several others throughout history. And aside from the fact that third-party candidates are very rarely leftist, look at Ross Perot and RFK. Even outside of that, there are many reasons why this doesn't work. Every time a Democratic candidate loses the election because a lot of leftists voted for third party, even though that third-party candidate is not mathematically able to win, that Democratic candidate and the Democratic Party as a whole does not think we need to cater to leftists. What instead they think is these leftists are not reliable. Not only are they not reliable, but they're also unlikely to vote for the opposing candidate. This actually gives them more freedom to move right. If they campaign to moderates, then they can take votes away from their competition and add to their own votes at the same time. If they cater to leftists, they're taking votes away from the third party who is mathematically impossible to win an election anyway. Add to that, there are more moderates in the United States than there are of any other political demographic. 37% of the United States identifies as a moderate, when only 36% identifies as conservative and only 25% identify as liberal. So if you're a leftist, you are also in the minority. There are more moderates than there are people who share your political beliefs. So not only will politicians actively gain fewer votes by catering to leftists, politicians also will not take votes away from the competition. They won't take votes away from the Republicans if they cater to leftists. And every time leftists gather together and throw their votes away to the third party, that instills this belief into the Democratic Party that catering to leftists is not worth it. We represent a minority of the population, we don't remove votes away from the other party, and we just throw our votes away willy-nilly, or we protest by not voting. There's no reason when we do this, when we act this way, for Democratic candidates to pay attention to leftists. It just doesn't make any sense. So how do we fix this problem? Well, we start getting more politically active. We start understanding that there are only two parties that can win the president of the United States. We learn the math, we learn how the country works, and we act through the system. The more we protest vote, the more we throw our votes away, the more we stay unreliable, the more we continue to not understand how the country works, the more we continue to not understand how the system works, the further right we are going to go.